Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? No introductions. How you doing, Jared?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Well, I was fan requested to actually cover a Bat family member this time for New Direction, and this time we're discussing Nightwing and Hawkfire. Now, Jared, you're my New 52 expert on the channel. Are you familiar with?
I'm familiar with Nightwing, obviously, not with Hawkfire.
Well, Hawkfire is a new alias for the original Batgirl from the Golden Age, Bette Kane.
Okay, and that makes sense.
And she played a role in the New 52 Batwoman run.
Okay, that makes sense. I knew she looked familiar when I looked at the thumbnail.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with this, basically this was around the time where Great Forever Evil, where Grayson pretty much becomes a secret agent for a time, not to be confused with the Rick Grayson saga, even though it was god awful. But be that as it may,
I'll say this, Jay. We need the Rick Grayson saga like we need a hole in the head.
I'll let you have that. Since you're
my
guest on the channel, I'll let you have that.
Thank you.
But needless to say, this would have been around the time as well, Batman, and essentially what happened in our other video with Batman after he's coerced by one of his villains to take out a certain clown.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, movie theater? How you doing?
And we will go in more detail on that storyline in case you missed the original Batman video, covered from another character's perspective later on.
Yeah.
But Jared, any initial thoughts before we get started?
Just that this is going to be really good.
Now, I want to jump forward because we got to set the groundwork, because this actually deviates. Although we originally said the New 52 is basically the same for the most part, we do have to retcon one aspect of Forever Evil, and that's Grayson's near-death experience.
I would say that, yeah.
Jared, I'll let you go ahead and go first, and then I'll rebuttal.
What? I was debating. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay. But I was just saying how instead of having to die and be resuscitated, Grayson finds a way to escape with the help of Talon, which helps set the stage for Court of Owls, basically.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to do a New Direction Court of Owls. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's a good way to roll with it, because to a degree, the death. Because here's the thing about Forever Evil: it was primarily like a setup event, and this was like the most blatant example. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of odd.
I'd argue Gotham War was strictly a setup event, but this was a close second.
Mm-hmm.
But petty digs aside, so Talon ends up saving Nightwing. Nightwing doesn't really know the full aspect of what's really going on, but that's a story for another day. So shortly after, Bruce gets coerced to taking on Joker. The Mad Prince of Crime is no more, and he's ended up in a government contract with Waller for a few months. Nightwing ends up working with Spiral. Now, the reason Nightwing works with Spiral is because this is where Kate Kane, the original Kate Kane from the Golden Age, who became a super spy, Batman Inc. onward, she can use Spiral Tech to clear Bruce's name, but Grayson will have to work with her in exchange. So Bruce and Grayson are kind of going through the same thing right now. The only difference is one's being directly blackmailed and the other's being leveraged.
That works. I like that. We can work with that.
And of course, Hawkfire, to answer Movie Theater King's comment, Hawkfire is Kate Batwoman's sister under a new alias. It's from here, the Grayson run where Nightwing was a secret agent goes relatively the same, except with the addition of an old friend. Jared, you want to take a guess at this one?
And we're talking about the Spiral thing, right?
Yes, but also I'm retconning a certain other controversial storyline and putting a character in this book.
Which one was that again?
I'll give you a hint. It was a very bad New 52 run. Both
Oh,
got rebirth.
are we talking about Teen Titans?
Close. Give up?
Yeah.
Red Hood and the Outlaws. We're introducing Starfire.
Okay, that works. I like that one.
The thumbnail was a dead giveaway, man, but
Yeah.
I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, in one of our earlier videos, we talked about how Starfire was with Prince Cass and all that stayed on Tamaran.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time. Oh, what's up, Najee? And pretty good, Najee, pretty good. And this is basically Corey's first time coming to Earth. Like, she hasn't been here in a while. She doesn't really stay on Earth like that, especially after her and Grayson's relationship and the New 52 aspect fell apart. And I'm like, what's she doing here on Earth?
Yeah, exactly. And is she still the promiscuous Starfire, or is she more of the Teen Titans Starfire?
I'm trying to go more of a classical route, but if you want to incorporate Teen Titans 03, we can for simplicity.
Okay, so she's promiscuous. Okay, that makes sense. Let me see. In terms of for Starfire, now is this her debut in the DC universe, or has she been to Earth before?
She has been to Earth before, because remember we covered in New Direction Young Justice how Grayson ended up getting displaced on Tamaran with the Zeta tubes and that whole debacle.
Okay, I got it. So she shows up and it's like she was exiled from her people and she came to Earth because she has nowhere else to go.
Commander teamed up, allied with the Gonatans, led a coup against her and the subjugation of Tamaran, and she wants help. Now the Justice League is still recovering from Forever Evil, Darkseid War, and the first God Killer. Because remember, we're still after the first God Killer, but before God Killer 2. This is technically Volume 1 for us. We had to backtrack a bit.
Yeah, we're doing a few of the stories that we didn't get a chance to do before because we were trying to get the basic plot in there, and then we can go back and like expand with tie-ins.
Of course,
an appropriate amount of tie-ins.
An appropriate amount of tie-ins, yes. We do not want to drag this out because some storylines are left to be condensed.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the main narrative. Like, why didn't you tell anyone? I mean, you could have haloed me. You could have Zeta tuned straight to the Watchtower. Why come to me? Because, and then Starfire goes like, I need to help better protect my throne and Commander and my sister. Yes, we've dealt with Commander multiple times over the years. This is the first time she's pulled a campaign across the galaxy. Why is this time any different? Richard, if you would just listen. Corey, just tell me. And you probably know where I'm going with this.
I have some ideas. Keep going.
Okay. Remember, and then Starfire. And now remember, we talked about this in the previous video. So if you're lost, that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Corey's like, you know how we threw that, how I threw that fight against you? Hey, I held my own. Richard, you're a capable fighter, but we both knew I was holding back.
Mm-hmm.
Even more so, I had a responsibility to my people. But Cass wasn't the father. What are you talking? Corey, are you saying?
I like this. This is good.
Her name is Nightstar. Or at least, that's a more Tamarinian name I would like to give her. And after escaping the Gronatans, my powers have become unstable.
Are you doing are you incorporating Titans into this?
Kingdom Come, basically.
Her powers were unstable in Kingdom Come?
Yes, because Starfire died of a tragic illness in Kingdom Come.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So this is where she starts into a climb after trying to fight off the Gronatans, the experiments, fighting off Blackfire. And this kind of, I'm trying not to get so caught up in the whole pseudo love triangle between Nightwing, Oracle, and Starfire. I just want to tell a direct story, give Starfire a direct impact, and then slowly ease the character out to where her and Richard would be on better terms. Yes, I know. Am I going to kill her off? Maybe not, but at the very least, Corey's going to take a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
So
we can like depower her instead of like kill her or something like that.
Yeah, but that's up to you guys in the comments. But so Richard is completely flabbergasted. And like, okay, so because Richard knows what happened, he's just having a hard time processing it.
Mm-hmm.
And how he wants to see his daughter, he wants to protect her, but Nightstar doesn't have that relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he knows more than anyone. He was trained by the self-proclaimed world's greatest detective. He knows when he's not being given the whole truth. Corey, what happened to King Cass? Pseudo retiring characters.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Kind of. And then how we basically get a flashback about how King Cass fought off the Gronatans in Blackfire. And it's a courtesy rule because Coriander pretty much tried to remove the monarchy into a republic. King Cass kind of married into the royal family, politically, of course. And Nightstar isn't of age. Or Mari, basically. And yes, I'm actually using Kingdom Come for Nightstar, not Mariko Tamaki's travesty, I am not Starfire.
Does she say I am not Starfire?
No, why would she say that?
Because she's Starfire's daughter. They all have to say that according to Tamaki.
Just retire and not kill her off. The killed but not dead is just gone out the window at this point. Maybe, but I appreciate your feedback, Movie Theater King, but I just hear what I'm cooking. Just let me cook. And since Starfire has energy absorption powers, maybe not to the extent of a Kryptonian, but similar enough to what Kal-El had gone through during Darkseid War, which means Starfire is going through some kind of energy poisoning. Probably while fleeing the galaxy after Commander's coup. Okay. Now, I'm trying to get all the lore out of the way first so we can actually get back to the main story. But where's your head at, Jared? Where's your head at?
Okay, so I feel like, so going through it, in terms of what we have so far, I like it. The way the coup works, because what we could do is we could have Grayson like go to her planet to help her like stabilize things there, and in other words, at the end of this arc, that's where he goes, and she eventually loses her powers and she becomes more like I use this term like in a different way, more human. So is she essentially he helps her learn what it's like to not have powers and to be like a regular person,
basically. And for quick clarification for Nick, for fans like Nick from the Phoenix Press, because he actually knows who Prince Cass is. Cass was actually killed in the coup. Let's go ahead and establish that now.
Mm-hmm.
So Coriander wants the throne. Mari's not old enough, and even then, Nightwing and Starfire aren't even married, so there's no claimage there. And since Tamaran is of the warrior race, a warrior culture, Starfire getting sick is considered a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So Commander's up for grabs for the throne, but Starfire can't fight back, at least not in her current state. Because if she fights her sister traditionally, she's going to lose. I need a champion. I need a champion to fight in my stead, but I won't force my daughter to do it. And in case some people want to go ahead and make fan art, please don't do this. Please, I implore you. The last thing I need is another Hippolyta Kent situation.
Jay, this is the internet. Whenever you tell someone not to do something, they do it even more.
I hate it when you have a point.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Here's a pitch for you. DC in another galaxy. I'm surprised Marvel and DC try not to expand their galaxy. It makes more sense than doing the multiverse. Expanding a single universe seems harder than... Well, that's something to consider.
The reason why they don't do that is because when you do it in a different galaxy, because with the multiverse, they can just have the same characters. That's why. They could have Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, because a lot of the characters in the galaxy can't hold their own books. There's a reason why there's only been like one Red Lantern book.
That is true. I will give you that. That is true. But back to what I was saying.
And by the way, they do explore all other galaxies. It's called the Green Lantern book.
Yeah, and I know this is kind of deviating from the original Secret Super Spy stuff, but Spiral goes relatively the same, and even then, they're kind of working with Batman to help clear Bruce's name. So outside, so it's kind of so the Spiral, so the Grayson art would go relatively the same for the most part. I'm just adding this new story in to make it worth our while. So Oracle, which we are keeping as Oracle because there's
because there are more popular versions of Batgirl, and I feel like Barbara Gordon was way more popular when she was just Oracle.
And she was able to garner and relate to a new audience in her own right as Oracle. I just feel like making her Batgirl again. I don't know if it was because Barbara had a stronger IP, or it was just a regret, or it was just for the reboot aspect. But it felt like a regression, at least in my opinion.
I think because here's the reason why there was no reason for it, because everything associated with Batman didn't reboot when they did Flashpoint. Remember that, so they didn't have to revert her as to Batgirl. They could have kept her as Oracle and just said, "Yeah, that happened a while ago." Because people forget that when the New 52 started, the only books that didn't reboot were Green Lantern and Batman.
That is true. People do tend to forget that. Now, how would the Batman? Now, okay, where was I? I would say Nightstar is adolescent. I'm not going to say she's like 16 or her age in Kingdom Come. I'd say she's about Damian's age, if not a little bit younger. I mean, a little bit older. Excuse me. Probably like 10 to 12. That's a good range. Damian's not saying anything because he and Bruce were in a similar situation with their dynamic just a few years ago. So Damian's feeling more sense of irony more than anything. Red Hood's just trolling in Grayson's face, like, "Hey, think of it like this, Golden Boy. It was bound to happen sooner or later."
Golden Boy, I love that. That's great.
You're not helping, Jason. Wasn't trying to.
Hey, sorry, Batman Jr. I had to. I was waiting for a chance to use that.
Jason would have a field day. Let's be honest.
You would call him Batman Jr. There you go.
And I'm not going to go too much into Tim Drake because he gets a video in his own right which will play to this, but I don't want to spoil it here. So Hawkfire is pretty much holding the fort while Nightwing's off war with Starfire. And although Nightwing would want to fight Commander, or Blackfire as she's better known as, it technically isn't his fight. At least not politically it isn't.
No, it has to be Corey to fight. Corey has to be the one to defeat Commander. It's kind of like how Aquaman had to be the one to defeat Orm in Aquaman. By the way, an idea, so this is taking place after Batman off the Joker, right?
Yes, this takes place after that.
What if part of his debt to Waller is like he had to lead Spiral? So that way we tie him in, because without the whole secret identity thing, why would Dick Grayson work for Spiral in any way?
I mean, it could just be that Kate Kane, the original Kate Kane, because like I said, she actually ran Spiral and was willing to help Bruce out in exchange that the Bat family helped her on a particular case, which was exposing Waller for doing shady stuff behind the government's back.
Yeah, but the way we can add Nightwing to that is that he decides, hey, if you're going up against Waller, you're going to need someone to watch your back that knows you very well.
True.
So,
I'll concede that.
That way we kind of tie things together more with the Bat family.
That's a fair point. I'll give you that. And Huntress is still Helena Bertinelli. I don't really see any point in changing that.
No, we're not changing that. And then, yeah, she has. We're keeping that portion because that was like a new thing to do, and I kind of enjoyed that when she was just Helena Bertinelli, agent of Spiral, before she became a Huntress. I forget exactly how they did it, but the point is, Helena Bertinelli was that secret agent. I really like that world. I need to pick up that omnibus though.
It was a very nice touch. It did technically bleed into DCYOU though. At least the latter issues did.
But the good parts didn't. So we're gonna keep the good parts. Because remember, nothing. The one that I'm gonna make a proposal. Nothing from DCU is carried over.
That's fair.
Nothing is. We don't bother with a new direction, and unless the new direction is into the trash can. It's one of those things where, like, if Jay Heat and I ran DC and this was proposed, we would laugh them out of the office and say, "Come back when you actually have a serious idea."
The only exceptions, and this is strictly for narrative purposes, the only real exceptions would be Convergence and Earth 2 Saga. That's it.
Convergence is thrown out.
Well, we kind of have to set up new direction, so.
Oh, yeah, so keep that, and what was the other one?
Earth 2 Saga.
Good, because I was like, you better not have said Future's End. Okay.
Oh, no,
Earth
God, no. Do you not remember the timeline video? We threw that out.
Good. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, and okay, so that works because I was thinking, and this is something I'm going to propose for a while. This is something that I've been throwing around in my head recently. That the end of the New Direction verse, like the very end of our story, is like an Endgame style multiversal war with the Prime Earth and the Earth 2 Earth uniting against Darkseid.
Okay.
That way we can bring the whole thing full circle, since Darkseid technically was the first villain of the New 52.
I can see that.
So we'll talk about that when we get to that point, because that's gonna be a long time before we actually end this thing.
Long time.
Yeah, but okay. So he runs Spiral, and he's basic. And Batman's kind of also watching Bloodhaven at the same time. Hey, Tavia, what would be cool, Jay Heat, is you know how, like, in speaking of Kingdom Come, remember when Batman had those bat drones?
I do.
Now here's the way we can adapt Super Heavy, but in a better way than having Jim Gordon be it. The suit is actually a drone. That Batman uses while he's with Spiral. So he can still be Batman, like he remote pilots it, but so that way he can still do the Batman thing, but he can also do the Spiral thing, because I think that Bruce would find a way to both be Batman and run Spiral.
Because remember, Tim Drake is technically donning the cowl at this time, but Bruce, we both know Batman is Bruce Wayne's true self. He is not going to let it go. He's taking a back seat. He's being blackmailed to take a relative back seat, but he is.
Batman would find a way. He's like, no, sorry. And Tevye says, fun fact, all his bat drones did show up again in Future's End. Yeah, but we're doing them way better. Way better. But no, we're not doing that, Tevye.
Yeah, Endgame had potential, but once you get to the whole Dionysium and the amnesia stuff, I'm just like, y'all have gone off the deep end.
Tevye, if you want to know what we did with Batman, go watch the Batman video where Batman killed the Joker. We basically skipped Endgame, or we severely altered Endgame, because there were certain parts of it that made absolutely no freaking sense at all.
Nope.
So he doesn't lose his memory. He's just a government agent, but at the same time, and the amnesia stuff confuses me. That's why we threw it out, because you know what? This is about making the New 52 work. But the point is, so that way we can still keep like the drone thing, and he even deploys a drone to Bloodhaven to protect it, to protect it while Nightwing is in space.
I feel like this would be a whole Titans endeavor. This would be a whole Titans endeavor. You got Donna Troy, you got everyone coming in to help her out, because Starfire can't rely on her powers, or at least not the same as she did before.
It could be a Titans event. The Titans go and help Starfire.
And I could just be
honest, with the Tamaranians having superpowers, Nightwing's going to be able to do very little.
Unless he's wearing some special armor, but even then, that's only going to get him so far.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes more sense. Plus, she was a Titan, so it's like this is a Titan's job.
But technically, Cyborg wasn't a Titan in the New 52. So
no. Because remember, Cyborg's not on this team yet. Because remember, he's like the liaison. I believe we made it where he's like the liaison between the Titans and the Justice League.
Yep.
So he's still on the League. Was he like injured during Godfall or Godkiller?
He was injured during now God Killer 2. He was injured and got severe upgrades. In God Killer 1, he wasn't injured that bad. He was more occupied with Darkseid's army orbiting the planet.
Okay, how about this? He's like handling right now drone maintenance for Batman, and like drone maintenance, drone upgrades. That we have something to do because again, I don't want to send him there because we need like Cyborg on Earth. That way we explain what he's doing there. Teen Titans mutations. But the point is, since Starfire is a Titan, they would see it as a family affair. It's like if Wonder Woman had a thing, the entire Justice League would show up.
Basically. Now, Lazarus, we might save that for later on.
Well, remember,
not right now, not in
the point where we are in the timeline, Lazarus Planet hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, so we're technically like late 52, early, like right at the end of 52 before we get
our version of Rebirth. Well, for one thing, we're not calling it Rebirth because Rebirth would not happen at this point.
Okay.
We're just gonna call it DC. Well, actually, should we still call it the New 52?
I mean, we got New 52, we got New Direction, and then we got, because eventually they are going to make us at least adapt and condense beyond New Direction. And Rebirth just sounded like a fitting name, all things considered. But until we can find something else.
All right, so well, what about Batman and Robin Eternal?
They try to recondense. Yeah.
Here's what we can do with Batman Eternal. This is taking place during the time when Jim Gordon's in jail for a crime he didn't commit. That's why he can't become Batman.
Okay. Yeah, we'll stick this right in the middle of Batman and Robin Eternal. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That way we explain why it's a drone and not Jim Gordon. And okay, so Direction verse 52. Not bad, my friend. That's actually not a bad. That's a legit a good idea. We'll consider that. We'll consider it. We may even do a vote. So, okay, so let me see here. Okay, so Batman's in Spiral. Okay, so this is taking place in between God Killer 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
So okay, so but Batman and Girl had Gordon as Batman, but Batman and Robin Eternal had Gordon as Batman. Yeah, but Tevye, again, the purpose of New Direction is we're changing things. That's the thing. We're making it a little better. We're just we're just doing Batman Batman Eternal. That's what we're doing. We're just doing that one.
And if you're worried about Stephanie Brown and Cassandra, they still, one's Batgirl and the other, you can have Cassandra be Orphan, or you can have Cassandra be Black Bat, whichever you prefer.
Cassandra's Batgirl, I think, and spoiler, Stephanie is.
You want to keep Stephanie spoiler? Okay.
Yeah.
Some say Batgirl was an improvement on her character, but hey, let's keep spoiler.
I mean, you can if you want, but I'm against having two Batgirls, or two. You know my feeling about sharing mantles.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, so, well, in that case, would you rather have Stephanie as Batgirl and Cassandra be Orphan instead of Batgirl?
If I had to pick between the two Batgirls, I would argue that Cassandra played the role better than Stephanie did. With Stephanie, it kind of just felt like a rebrand.
I agree. So we'll stick with Cassandra being Batgirl.
That's fair.
Plus, I think Spoiler was a better identity for.
She stood on her own.
Mm-hmm.
She stood on her own.
Yeah.
But yeah, now the Commander stuff, that's going to end up being now. This would actually lead to a later event with Commander, to where she, is going to invade Earth out of revenge.
The event is called Titans Star-War.
Working title, but we'll work on that.
There you go. That just came to me.
But California.
What's that?
I have no idea what that is.
We can ignore the terror.
Why not create a new title? Interesting.
But there's always been a female Batgirl. That's kind of in the name.
But wait. Now, We Are Robin played a role into the Court of Owls trilogy. We can't really avoid that. If we did, we would have to severely condense it.
Mm-hmm. You can search up names of and pick a new name. I'm fine with her just being Batgirl because that's iconic.
Yeah. I mean,
it's different than when we made Clark Scion. It's a different scenario.
it really is. Like it really is. So then we kind of splinter off to where Corey ends up fighting. Now, this is not a traditional fight by any means because Corey's starting to. Okay, after a long this crossover with Titans is going to last like 3 issues, maybe 4, and it ultimately leads to where we may not be able to cure Starfire, but we can slow it down basically by giving Starfire an exosuit to better harness her powers, rather than her doing so naturally.
Yeah, so basically her powers are not like completely taken away, they're just severely weakened.
Yes.
That makes sense. We could do that.
And after a long fought battle, Corey barely wins. Now, Blackfire doesn't yield or falter or anything like that. Corey just refuses the killing blow, and Blackfire is unable to continue the fight. So Corey technically wins back the throne by forfeit because Blackfire can't continue the fight.
Blackfire is unable to battle. Starfire wins! I had to. You set me up so well for that.
I did. I regret nothing. So Nightwing pretty much finally comes back to Earth, teams up with Huntress and Hawkfire. And around this time, the whole Batman Poison Ivy thing gets resolved. Now, although Nightwing is mad at Ivy for what she did, she can't really blame him because this is the Joker we're talking about. He can't really blame her. But at the same time, this is going to have long-term consequences that heroes and villains alike are going to have to learn to live with. And Ivy showed no remorse whatsoever. So I'm not going to say the whole what we did with New Direction Batman. Nightwing doesn't play a role, quote unquote. It's just he's got his own thing going on in the background. He can't actively contribute to the main story.
Yeah, exactly. And Tevia, we dealt with Wally West in the Flash story. We're not dealing with him right now.
That and Justice League of America.
For the Titans, we're not putting him on the Titans because having a speedster on the Titans is a little too overpowered for what we're doing.
And it kills the tension. This is a very personal story between Starfire, Nightwing, Oracle, and Mari Grayson, Nightstar. This is a very intrinsic story, and the Titans are just supporting cast. Now, Wally is technically a part of the Titans, the original Wally West. You could include him, but you would have to give him filler fights just to give Wally something to do. And I'm trying, in a hypothetical scenario, I would try to keep this crossover within 4 issues. All across the board.
We're keeping it as simple as possible.
Like, because then I would have to add a 5th issue, which is completely filler, just to give Wally West something to do. And that's a waste of everybody's time.
And we don't want that, no.
Some people would like it, though, but it's still filler in the grand scheme of things.
I'm against you have to include all these characters in order for... I'm against that. You don't have to include every character.
Not everyone gels well with an ensemble. If it goes against the story, then the story's not going to fit them. That's just the reality of it.
And Tevia, absolutely no tie-ins. This doesn't require tie-ins.
This is a crossover between Titans and Nightwing. That is it. This is a straightforward crossover.
No tie-ins. What it is, one issue takes place in Nightwing. The next part of the story is in Titans, and so on and so forth. So it'd be 2 Nightwing issues and 2 Titan issues together, alternating. There you go. That's your story.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I know DC would try this. Donna Troy does not get a tie-in. Each of the individual Titans does not get a tie-in. We're not doing that. We don't need to know how Beast Boy relates to this. No.
Because they really don't. Now, Donna helps train Corey and gets her adjusted to the exosuit. But other than that, hardly any of the core Titan members play a role here. They're just supporting cast and there for moral support. That's it.
And no, Starfire does not get a tie-in either because you don't need to. Her tie-in is the story. That's it.
Now, does this overshadow Nightwing? A bit. But again, Nightwing's the emotional aspect of the story. Starfire's the confrontational aspect of the story.
Purpose of the story is to potentially retire someone and write them. It's not really to retire them. It's really to like depower Starfire. It's not to, because she's gonna be powered because of the exosuit. She's not gonna retire.
Now, what would be a good way for her to get the illness? Maybe Blackfire poisoned her, a complication of her pregnancy with Mari, and she's just been hiding it for the past 10 years.
We can make it a mix of the two. Like it's at first the pregnancy is taking a toll on her because she's super powered and such, and then Blackfire slips her something, and it like what it actually does. Here's what we can do. What it actually does, it does weaken her. What it does is it divides her power between herself and the baby. So she's weaker. So essentially, Mari has half of Starfire's power.
Nice.
What does this mean for Lazarus' contract? I have no idea.
We'll get to that because that's really just a feud between Deathstroke and the Titans. We could really just restructure that story. We wouldn't have to change much.
No, not really.
But so that's pretty much a 4-issue arc between the two books. Nightwing comes back at the very end of New Direction Batman and kind of throws a cheeky remark about Tim donning the cowl because the last time Tim did that, he kind of got shanked by Jason Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you stepping up while I was off world, but just be you, Tim. You don't have to be Robin. You don't have to be Batman. Just be you. And maybe you don't even have to do the hero stint anymore. You were there for Bruce when he needed you after Bosnia. You did what most weren't willing to do. Sometimes it's good to take a step back. And this helps Tim with his own emotional growth when we cover his video and how he was a little bitter about Damian with the Robin mantle, even going into Batman Inc. It's only around the time of Damian's death by Heretic did Tim finally grow out of that resentment.
Yeah, exactly. And movie theater asked, does Nightstar get a new origin in your universe? No, she's the daughter of Nightwing and Starfire. That's the origin.
Pretty much.
Also, have Tim Drake still be a Nightwing partner?
I feel like at this point, Tim could stand on his own, or at the very least, we get what we got with Tynan, in Detective Comics Rebirth, where he was using the Belfry as a replacement for him so he could leave the life for a bit and go to college with Stephanie, which would have been a graceful exit for the character, mind you.
Yeah, you could have taken them both out, as a matter of fact. You could have said they both retired to go to college. Done.
No one would have been mad. No one would have complained.
But no, Tiny and Bendis,
a lot of that was 5G setup. Me personally, I would have quit the book in protest before I took that kind of maelstrom.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully it won't come to that. But back to the main book. So where does Nightstar go after here? Corey is adjusting, but she can't really be in the forefront like she used to. So she's pretty much just an ambassador for Tamaran.
She takes her mother's place on the Titans.
Okay.
She starts on the Teen Titans.
Starts in the Teen Titans, which then sets up New Direction Teen Titans for that book, and how Nightwing ends up being the den mother of that team because he wants to watch his daughter and has to watch Damian too.
Yeah, that works.
Grayson, you don't have to stick me here. I know what you're trying to do. You tried this last time with Drake's roster, and it didn't work then. There's no point in you doing this.
Yes, but I'm trusting you right now, Damian.
You do realize a biological accident doesn't obligate me to anything. That's ironic coming from you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but at this point in the narrative, this is at a point in time where Damian's still a shithead. He would just troll Grayson any chance he got.
There was ever a point when Damian was not an a-hole? I wasn't aware of that.
Like, I mean, I guess the only time is like the Williamson run and maybe a little bit of the Percy run where he acts more like his DeCamu counterpart for synergy purposes. But even then, he's still...
in the current Batman and Robin, he beats up some people for making fun of him for being a Wayne. No, we're not. We're not doing that.
No. I don't even know why I highlighted that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, okay, I just want to reiterate this for everyone in the back. Nightstar is Damian's age. This is like New 52, but before Rebirth. So if anything, Nightstar would be 10 to 12 years old.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
That's like, I'm not even going to use that anecdote, but the point is that's not going to happen.
That
But
sounds like something from the Timverse.
You are not going to let that go, are you?
No, I'm not. Never. It's creepy, and it will never, ever live. He will never live it down. Tevye says he didn't mean it. I think he meant like as team up, but you don't need that.
Context is important, Tevye.
But here's the thing, Tevye. Whenever you add a person to Teen Titans, they don't have to team up with like the Super Sons. You really don't have. Here's the thing that I want to reiterate. Not everything revolves around the Super Sons.
Nope. Now I get it. They're very prominent. The sons of the world's finest. They're very prominent, but not everything has to revolve around them. No. Damien and Hippolyta Kent, for example, they hate each other. We submitted that like 3 days ago.
Oh yes.
They freaking hate each other. Even to the point to where where a lot of heroes just say, "Oh, it's just flirtatious banter as a joke." No, they literally despise each other.
It's not like, oh, they actually like each other, but they're acting out. No, they legit hate each other.
The only reason they can find any common ground is because Damien wants to be a semi-decent example for John. That's the only reason he tolerates her.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like Hippolyta would just go out of her way to nag Damien just to get a reaction out of him. Like,
yeah. She's a troll. She is definitely a troll.
Like, silence, you screeching harpy.
Would Raven and Starfire? No. We're not. See, Tevye, that overcomplicates these books. We can't. We're not going to do that. We're keeping this simple.
But
now the question is, here's a question. Could we have John have a crush on Hippolyta? Hence another super wonder. I had to. Because she's about his age at this point.
I guess if we're sticking post with Rebirth, John is like 8 to 9, because I know in Rebirth he's about 10. So
yeah, 8 to 9. And how old is Hippolyta at this point?
Hippolyta, I'd say she's about 12, 13.
Okay. Yeah, crush. It's not anything beyond that. I know they're not teaming up. We're not getting. See, the thing is, the only
you have no idea what you have unleashed today.
No, the only character here's what you have to understand, guys. We're not gonna. Every time we add a character, that doesn't mean they're gonna have a separate book with this. We're not doing that. That's the problem with DC. They're like, okay, we have this new book. Now we have to do a team-up book with her, Starfire with her, and this, with her, and this. No, we don't. We really, really don't. The only time these characters will interact will be in the Titans book or the General New Directions book. Because it just overcomplicates the line.
I agree. But if I had him after the Spiral, because we have to set up a storyline where Spiral either disbands or rebrands within the government, Hawkfire, Bette Kane, she could leave the hero life altogether. She could be killed off, because she's just there to partner with Nightwing for a few issues, help with the case to clear Bruce's name and Waller's machinations, and be a supporting character in this book. That's the only reason Bette Kane is here.
Yeah, exactly.
You could swap her out for Huntress in the when our supposed second volume rolls around, and nothing in the overall story would change.
Yeah, exactly. So we could do it. So I would say kill her off. She sacrifices herself to stop a bomb from going off or something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe how the Gronatans, because they were on, because let's just what would be? Sorry, let me cook for a second. Maybe Deathstroke tries to take a shot at the Titans with everything going on, and then Hawkfire ends up getting caught in collateral damage.
We could do that.
Like he literally strikes on the anniversary of Grant's death, and I still blame you for this. There's still blood between us. And we all know how much of a flawed father Deathstroke is. Like, he will jump at the chance to attack the original roster any chance he gets. Now, later in incarnations, he's kind of indifferent towards. But that roster in particular, yeah. Question, how would you add Parliament of the Owls to Nightwing and Starfire, which took place after Spiral? Parliament of the Owls, I guess that would kind of like be the end of Spiral, because Spiral uses up all their resources in an attempt to expose and take down the global expansion or Parliament of the Owls, and this creates like a huge power vacuum and distribution of assets. Like the original Kate Kane is killed off, Hawkfire is killed off, Batwoman, modern Kate Kane grieves, and she wants revenge on everybody involved. And then we could just have Bruce have a speech about justice, not vengeance, or the no-kill rule, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, the reason I titled this Nightwing and Hawkfire, because I wanted to give Nightwing his own book, building up more on the relation with his daughter, how Oracle is pretty much trying to come to terms with interact with the child of her love rival, if we're calling it that. Kind of like Selena versus Talia, but they are on much better terms, to the point to where Barbara and Coriander could actually have a friendship.
That makes sense.
Because Selena and Talia will never get along. That's just not in the cards.
No. They tried to do that in Rebirth, and it didn't exactly work out that well.
I wouldn't even count that. That was just more of a petty skirmish than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're talking about that matchup in the desert, or
yeah, the sword fight in the desert.
But this is a pretty good setup. But I feel like now Talia. Now let's not say she's a jerk. Talia has her own set of baggage, but how she goes about it is just as villainous as Raish, if not more so.
Yeah,
that's as cleanest as I could possibly say it. But I really want to go into more detail with this, but I don't want to risk spoiling New Direction Batman or how other characters in their own, when they get their videos. Like, I really don't want to go into too much detail, but we could really go a whole hour and a half with this story.
Yeah, we could. Maybe in the future.
Maybe. But so when all is said and done, does Nightstar stay with the Bat family, or will she go to live at the embassy with her mom?
I would say Starfire would want her to like spend time with like her in her father's like circle to like kind of learn more about their new home.
That's fair.
All right,
Barbara doesn't have to like it.
But that would be a hilarious interaction in the scene. Like, Barbara's trying to be nice, but she's also kind of she's holding back because she's like, I'm doing this for Richard.
And Damien's just perched in the corner, like eating some popcorn.
He's like, Damien, where'd you get that popcorn? I made it. Why are you eating that popcorn? I'm just enjoying it.
No reason.
Show. I'm just enjoying the show.
And
Nightwing sure knows how to create some drama.
Yeah.
That's so what Damien would do.
And then Jason's like right next to him eating the popcorn as well. What? You finally gonna miss out?
He's pouring butter on the popcorn. Drinking a soda.
And then Grayson's like, you guys are jerks. Hey, we're family. What can you do?
That would be great. And then the door slams open and like Stephanie Brown and Spoiler just fall out like they were leaning against the door, their ears against the door. And then Grace is like, good Lord, why am I in this family? And fade to black. That's the end of the book.
At least Duke Thomas isn't giving him a hard time. Like
No,
Duke
he's not.
is just
He's not. He's not. But yeah, exactly. Oh, jeez, that was so good. That just came to me, and I was like, I got to do this.
Oh. Oh. But yeah, this was a very solid run. We replaced Grayson for Nightwing and Hawkfire because it's essentially the same story. And again, I really see we could go into a new. I really like to see where we could go next with the story, but maybe another time. Now we are going to take a bit of a break on New Direction verse. Focus on more content, get ready for the holidays. But we have a few options for y'all now. Either Jared will set up a poll, or I can set up the poll. But we could go back to the God Killer 2 tie-ins when we come back. New Direction Flash with Flash Barry Allen. Or we could do New Direction Red Hood.
Red Hood could actually be really fun. I'm curious to see how Nightfire would react to Batman Beyond. Well, she would be an adult at that point, I think.
Yeah, and probably leading her people.
Well, for right now, that's really far in the future. But
indeed,
Red Hood could be pretty interesting to mess around with that.
But again, Jared and or myself can set up the poll on Twitter. You can find me there at jheat75. Like, comment, subscribe, and I got a couple videos coming up, such as my Captain Marvel 2 review that should be coming up in a couple of hours.
How awesome was it?
You're gonna have to wait for the video to get my full thoughts on that. But New Direction Arrow, now due to a scheduling conflict, I'll be tackling that video solo. But that one shouldn't take no more than a few minutes. That's gonna be a late night stream. And Tevia, if we were going to do like a Batman Beyond Goes Back in Time, that would be strictly for an annual and a self-contained story. That wouldn't have any larger impact on what's going on. But Jared, anything you would like to promote before we wrap up?
I am a Super Wonder Legacy is coming out, where we use Dan DiDio's own words to refute DC Rebirth. So that's really the main thing I want to promote this week.
And I was recently on your last Super Wonder Legacy episode.
You were?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the Marvels yet.
You're better off, my friend. Don't even wait.
You were on a stream, Jay. I'm talking about the show I do with Britt.
Oh, okay. My fault. I must have confused that one you did with Talati a few days ago.
Yeah. That was on Talati's channel, his Super Wonder thing. I did not see the Marvels. I'm waiting. It's just it's not really a priority for me.
I will argue it shouldn't have even been made. But again, wait for my review. But with that being said, I'm at currently 173 subscribers. We are 2 away from our goal. If you can get me to 175 or 180 or above, myself, Jared, and Taladia Plays has to react to Gotham Knights.
No, he has to react to Gotham Knights. I have to react to his reaction. That's the plan.
Oh, that's right. If we can get the 200 before the end of the year, you and I have to react to Batwoman.
Why did I agree to that? I forgot about that. God damn it!
Hold on, Jared. Maybe this will make you feel better. Hold on.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbat.
All right.
Okay. I've had my fun. Okay, like, comment, subscribe. You've been a great audience, everybody. See you next time.